Hi everyone, it's Paula from Paula Quilting. Welcome back to my channel. When I originally recorded this video, the purpose of the door stoppers were to make few, donate to the local charities so they can raise money for their needs. But I then got thinking, everyone who knows a quilter knows they are the most generous people with golden heart ready to make a quilt to support anyone in need. We would all love to make quilts and send them to people in Ukraine and to those lucky enough to actually escape and now are in the care of the people of the free world. This is, however, in this point of time, not the best way of supporting them. When the war is over, hopefully soon, and they go back home, we can then start sending our quilts, made with love, to support them and encourage them to rebuild their lives. Now they just need basics. They have run away from home and they need basics to keep them going. And to get those basics, various organizations around Europe and from all over the world, they need money to buy those basics for those people. Hence, I would like to ask you to join me in the door stopper campaign. Use your scraps and use your skills to make a door stopper one of you, how many you can and how many you wish to. Sell them to your family, sell them to your friends, sell them at your work, maybe you have your own store somewhere, and donate money to organizations who are helping refugees. Make them yellow and blue or make them in the color of the rainbow. It really doesn't matter as far as you join me in this campaign. Just make a few and send good thoughts, blessings and raised money to those in need. Hi everyone, it's Paula from Paula Quilting. Welcome back to my channel. We have had some work done around the house recently and I am now in need of a door stopper for my new office. So choice is either I can go and buy something or I can make something. I have two huge boxes of the batting scraps, smaller, bigger pieces like, mix, and even bigger box of the string bits and pieces. So as a part of my scrap management, I cut everything into 1.5 and 2.5 inches, but you have those offcuts which are not necessarily those sizes or something you don't want to cut and use that way. So even bigger boxes of those scraps. So obviously, instead of buying something, I'm going to make myself a door stopper using those bits. Now, if you don't have any of those, you don't have any strips you want to use, have a look in your cupboard with your orphan blocks. That will be a good way of using them up as well. You have something smaller, or if you have a big block, obviously you can cut it to match the size of the door stopper you want to make. So what I did so far was I went through the batting scraps. I pick up some of those wider pieces and I kind of patch them up together. I do have a tutorial how to do it. I will link it in the description below. And I've stitched some random strips on top of it, like quilt as you go technique. So that's one thing, and I've got quite a lot for one door stopper, I would say. But I just thought that if I can make more, I will just donate them. I did have some fun with decorative stitches when I was quilting it. So that's opportunity again for you to use, to practice maybe free motion quilting or maybe you have new machine like I do, so you can put some decorative stitches. You can play with it because, to be fair, nobody will be looking at the door stopper very, in detail once it's in use. The door stopper I would like to make, it will be a cube. I will be using a zipper to be able to stuff it. You don't have to. You can just put a normal square and just finish it by hand in one corner after you've stuffed it. But I thought, I've got some zips which I've taken out from old clothes. This is something I took out from one of the tops I had. So I will just reuse it. And I might as well kind of have a nice finish. So if I ever maybe need to wash it, I can open it up easily, take out the content, wash it and put the content back. So that's the idea why zip, but obviously you don't have to. Like I said, you can just stitch squares together in a cube without it. And I also would like to have some sort of handle. So the size of the cube I want is each square would be cut to 6.5 inches. So I've got 6.5 inch ruler, so that's quite easy to cut it. I will just go on the back actually, because as you can see, little bows here, and I just want to make sure that when I cut it, I'm gonna have a straight piece. Okay, so for a cube I need obviously 6 squares, and one of them I will cut into half to put the zipper in. So let's get started with the cutting into pieces. Okay, so I've got 4 from that bit, so let me cut more. Actually I will cut all the, I will cut down all of those pieces into squares, because like I said, I want to make more than one of those door stoppers, so I might as well go and cut everything. Okay, so with this piece, I need one square where I said I will cut it into the half, but actually this leftover here is quite wide, so I wonder if I can have maybe 2-3 inches strips out of that. That means I don't have to cut the other bits. Those will be my halves for where the zipper is going, so I will just put it aside for a minute. And then also I need some handles, and because I haven't put backing on that fabric, then I will need to kind of double it up to make something nice. Or let's see if in my other scraps if I've got something with the backing. Okay, I found one piece which has got a little bit of backing, so it will look better, so that should be enough to make at least 2 handles. So I will put that aside, and those scraps, I think I don't need them, but I would, just in case, I won't throw them away yet. Okay, so let's see if I've got enough for 2. I would need 5 of those, and then some of those halves for the zipper. So 3, 4, 5. I even got spare ones, so that may be another door stopper coming. We'll see. So I've got 5 here, and then let me quickly cut this one into necessary pieces. That will be one of them. There will be a little bit of gap here, so there will be enough of a space for the square. And then second one. Okay, let me just grab another zipper somewhere, and we'll start attaching it to our pieces. So first of all, I would like to kind of secure those edges here before I put the zip on, and you can just use normal straight bias tape or binding tape. You've got maybe some leftovers. I've got this ready-made bias tape, and I will use that because I have it, but if I didn't, I would just use normal, even straight cut bit of binding. It's just so they look a little bit nicer when we're stitching the zipper on. Okay, it's time to add the zip now. Now, if you can move your needle position, then you can do it with just moving your needle very to the left or very to the right without changing the your foot. But if you cannot use, move your needle position, you probably would like to now attach the zipper foot. Okay, so I move my foot towards the left as much as I could, so I can stitch my zipper here. Now I will cut that bit a little bit further down because I don't need it so long. And I'll just chain piece the second zipper as well whilst I'm on it. As you can see, I'm going much lower below that close up, because one, I can't because the zip is very long, and two, I still would like to have a zipper a little bit longer than I need, so I don't have to worry, like, you know, squish myself against that bit here. So for anything you work with the zips, just buy them a little bit longer than you actually need. It makes life so much easier. Okay, so let me now make a handle, because handle will go on top of that part with the zipper. So let's have that ready. So I think I want to have a little bit longer, obviously, than 6.5, so it's not lying flat against the cube. It just need to, you know, but it doesn't want, I don't want it to stick out too much either. What's the width of it? Like I said, it's a scrap. It's 2 inches width of that strip, but you can do any, you know, width you like. Maybe you have something else in your buckets you can use for that, so just feel free. It doesn't even have to be quilted part. It could be some decorative, maybe band, you know, ribbon, piece of tape, whatever you've got in your scrap buckets you can use for that. And again, I will finish it off with that bias tape. I shouldn't have even cut it now. I should have waited until I put that binding tape first, but here we go. I cut it, so I've got 2 pieces to finish. Okay, so I went ahead and also zigzagged all the edges on my squares, and I will do the same thing now on my zip squares as well. But what I will do at the same time, I will add my handles. So I will put them somewhere in the middle and zigzag them with it. That means they will be all tagged when I get around to do the other bits and pieces with the door stopper. Now, one thing I would like to notice and tell you is that because I was using scraps, I cut them to 3 inches, and I thought I will gain that 1/2 inch here in the middle, but I haven't, funny enough. It's slightly little less than 1/2 inch here, so my squares are slightly smaller than those. Not enough to that I have to redo anything, but just, you know, if you're doing your own, cut those rectangles a bit bigger if you're using some scraps. But, you know, if you have used the square and cut it into half, you would have been fine. But if you're using scrap, cut them bigger, and then you just square them up later when you stitch them to the zipper. So just a little bit of tip there. Okay. What I will do before I put my handles, I will just quickly stitch here, literally just at the edge, to close that gap here, because I can later cut off that edge here. So just front and back a few times, so I know that will not go anywhere now, so I can cut that bit out. And I will do the same thing on this side. Just make sure you open your zip before you do that. You don't want to have your close-up on this side when you're doing it. So now your needle will go through, definitely through the plastic zip with no problem whatsoever, but sometimes machine may kind of struggle to push it down, depending on the machine you've got. You may like to hand crank or just go very slowly when you're doing that, and just push that bit little bit so you don't have any gap there in between. And again, I just go front and back. Okay, I can cut off this spot. They're not perfectly square either, as you can maybe notice, but that will all be lost once I stitch it on. Like I said, the difference is so minimal that that will be not a problem. Okay, now zigzag all around, and I'm just going to add the handles at the same time. Okay, obviously I want to have a handle right side up. Okay, so our tops are ready. Now it's time to put our door stopper together. The seam allowance I will be using will be more than a quarter. It's just to make sure it holds very well, not, you know, just slightly more than a quarter. And so I will stitch one, it really doesn't matter which way, one, maybe if I do this one first, it will be easier later to add the bottom one. So one to this side, one to that one, and one more to the side. So I will have 4 in a row, and then we'll start adding bottom and tops to it as well. So let's crack on. I'm just going to close my rows into one kind of continuous strip, so now we'll have all the walls done. Okay, so now I want to pin. Now before I pin anything, make sure your zipper is open. Don't want to have it closed, you have a difficulty later to open it. So put your walls up, and what you want to do, have some pins now or some clips, whatever you use to kind of keep things to things together. So I'm flattening it down this edge. I hope you will be able to see it well, and I'm just aligning my square to match where those edges are as well on the sides, and I will just put literally a couple of pins to hold it in place. I'm not pinning the edges, I'm just pinning somewhere in the middle. Again, I will move to the next wall and I will do the same thing. I'm flattening it out and I'm centering it so it's all nice and matched up on the sides. Couple of pins here. And I will do it with all of the walls all around. So where you want to start stitching is middle of one of those walls, whichever wall you pick. Just go in, put your needle down, do back stitch. Now that bottom part here, let me just get closer to it a little bit. So when we get to that part under here, I just want to make like a triangle here. I know there's that stitch here may not allow you to do it like exactly triangle here, but just do as much triangle as you can. Cover it down, and where you want to stitch is where that triangle starts. You don't want to go over it, you just want to stop somewhere here. You will feel it because obviously there's a bump here. If you go a little bit over it, don't worry, just stop as close as you can and back stitch and stop. So now I'm moving to the next wall just next to it. So I will put it flat, and I can start from the very top of that edge now, and I will back stitch here as well, and I will carry on. And again at the bottom of that where I'm getting to, I'm just going to put it down, create a triangle, put the top bit on top of it flat, and I will stop where the triangle starts underneath. Again, if you go too much over it, don't stress, back stitch here. I went there over, but that will not stop me either. And then we're going to the next wall. Again, I'm putting it now flat here, and I can start stitching from very top and then just back stitch there, and I'm carrying on. Make my triangle at the bottom as flat as I can. Don't over stress with those corners. Honestly, you will not see them that much. They will look good. Get my pin out. Back stitch, stop, and I'm getting to the next wall. Again, I can now put it nice and flat here and start from the very edge. Back stitch, make my triangle at the bottom at this stage, and carry on. If you stop, you think you stop too early, that's okay too, because once we kind of flatten it up at the top here, this way, we are stitching from the very top. You can see this one is sticking out here. I'm not worrying about it. It's probably because it's quilted fabric, it kind of didn't come out even, totally even. So don't, like I said, don't overthink it. Just stitch it together, it will be fine. And we are now at the last one, so I'm putting it nice and flat here. Again, I'm starting from the very top, and because I've started from the middle, I will stop in the middle. I don't have to go to the very end there. And back stitch, and done. So I will now repeat that process at the top edge. So the next bit to do is to take some batting scraps and the plastic bag, fill it in, stuck it inside, and see how it works. So you could see that there was quite a lot of stuffing going inside, and it may look a little bit lumpy because I didn't cut the batting into smaller pieces. If you want to have a little bit more even all around, you would need to cut it into smaller pieces, and then you can nicely kind of distribute them. I just wanted to quickly fill it in, so I didn't. I've put all pieces in. I put them in the plastic bag because if I want to wash it, like I said later, I can just easily take it out and wash it. If you worry that it's, making the sound too much because there's a plastic bag inside, you can just make a simple bag out of some scraps of plain fabric and use that instead, so it will not make that sound when you're using it. So I hope you enjoyed this quick tutorial on your DIY door stoppers. I really like how they came out. So with this batting scraps I've got, and I've got really plenty, I probably, and I've also got lots of strip scraps and all of those things, so I can probably make another 10 or 20 even. It's a good stash buster. It's something you can, if you're looking for some small project to donate somewhere for sale, that's a good project. If you need a cube for somebody to play with, take the handle off, don't put the zipper, just leave an opening here, finish off by hand after you stuffed it, and that will be a good toy as well. So you may find other uses for it. It's not necessarily just a door stopper. You can customize it to what you want to achieve with that. So since I've recorded this tutorial, I have made few more of those for my fundraising, and I've kind of got a little bit of more tips around how to make them. So I did change the position of the zipper to the side because it's easier to stuff it rather than have it under the handle, but you obviously do however you like it. I don't think I've mentioned how long the straps were here, so I cut them to about 8 inches, so it gives kind of little bit of a gap here to put your hand in. Instead of batting scraps, if you don't have any to either sew the strips on or to fill it in, you can use an cut old blanket. Fleece blanket will work very well. I've got actually few bits I will be using for my next one. So just, you can either, look around your house, or maybe buy something old, or ask a friend if he's got something old he doesn't use anymore and you can use for this project as well. You can use other materials to make your door stoppers. Instead of, patchwork, you can use some sort of thick cotton or upholstery type of fabric. This is made one from those. I haven't yet stuffed it, but it looks very nice as well. I've used one color here to make it, but obviously if you've got scraps from other ones, you could easily make some sort of colorful cube for that door stopper. So it's up to your imagination how to link them together. If you have a trouble with thickness when you're sewing those things, when you're starting and maybe machine doesn't want to pull it, you can put something under the foot to level it up and then it will go on. Or I also have mentioned a few times in tutorials how to use the spring on your foot. I'll just show you this spring here on your foot. That's exactly what it's made for. So I will link in the description below tutorial when I'm talking about it, so you can have a look there how to use that spring. I just filled up my door stopper with soft stuff because the purpose of my stopper was to stop the door banging the wall behind it and make a mark on the wall from the handle. But if you want something to actually stop the door, just take out some of the stuffing and put some stones inside instead, and that will make it heavy enough to actually stop the door from moving if that's the purpose you need. If there is something I haven't covered either in tutorial or now and you have a question about it, please be sure to leave it in the comments below. I'll be happy to reply to give you more tips and hints on how to make those door stoppers usable for you, and maybe adjust something if you need it. Normally at the end of my tutorial as a creator, I thank you for watching and asking to subscribe to my channel. This time, as you're watching this quick clip with the selection of the door stopper I've made, I ask you to share and join the campaign. We can make the difference together. Let's make it a symbol. Stop the hate with a door stopper.